flips me a bad body. Oh, it's another one, yeah. It's a full strong, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to iBoxingHub. I go by the name of Biyenge, featuring yours truly Tre, and we've got a special guest. Please allow me to introduce this guest. He's a free-weight world champion. He's held the IBF at flyweight, WBO at bantamweight, WBO at junior featherweight. He's also a sport presenter, and he's also a trainer at Duke Boxing Gym. Yours truly, Duke McKenzie.
Good evening.
Yes, Duke. Once again, I just wanted to say thank you so much just for joining us on the Boxing Roundup on my birthday as well. I wanted to give the people, a treat just for how much they support us, and just having yourself, as I would say this is boxing royalty in my opinion, because you're an MBE as well. You've obviously done a lot for the sport. My cousin mentioned you do have your Duke Box Gym. So people, I've added the link to Duke McKenzie's IG in the description. So make sure you follow him so you can see the journey of what he's doing at Duke Box Gym and also at TalkSport as well. So big up to the legendary Duke McKenzie MBE.
Thanks, champ. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yes,
I like that little MBE tag. It's something I'm very proud of. It's I had to go to Windsor Castle to get it with my family, with my daughters and my son, and there was about, for argument's sake, about 100 people getting awards on the day, and I was about the 91st person in through the door. So you're playing to a full house basically, and it's like 4 steps forward, 6 steps to the right, another 20 paces forward, stop, curtsy, bow, and then it all starts from there. So, I think I got my MBE from Princess Anne. So, yeah, I was and my kids were like in about the 4th row. So it's a very proud day for me, and something I don't think I'll ever forget.
Oh, so, Duke, I mean, sorry, Mr. McKenzie. What got you into
first name? Let's stay first name basis, guys.
It's boxing royalty. So look, Duke, if you want us to call you Duke, that would be.
That's my name.
So what got you into boxing?
My elder brother Clinton boxed. So there was 4 of us basically. Clinton, Winston, Dudley, and myself. My elder brother Clinton was an outstanding amateur boxer. Clinton's like my dad, really. He's my eldest brother, but he doubles up as my dad. And Clinton started, Winston started, then my brother Dudley started. Dudley was the real star of the show. I mean, Clinton was great, no doubt about it. Clint went to the 1976 Olympic Games. He boxed Sugar Ray Leonard in the quarterfinals, turned professional, became British and European champion. And it was like the blind leading the blind. I just followed my peers. Do you see what I mean? Although I had a really poor amateur record, the education I had, watching my brothers and listening to them, winning and losing in fights, I was like a sponge. I just soaked it all up. Do you see what I mean? And I consider myself to be very, very privileged. I've got, like I say, my brothers are my best friends. So I had great role models. They were my role models in life, and they still are to this day. Do you see what I mean? My older brother Clinton, Dudley. I lost Dudley in '95, sadly. But my brothers are my everything. We do everything together.
Wow, that's so powerful, and that's one of the reasons why myself and my cousin are so close, because he's also an inspiration to me through what he's done in his life, and we like to, inspire ourselves. And look, that's just powerful, just knowing that your initial inspiration was, within your household. So, that is amazing.
You can't beat family ultimately. I mean, listen, not all my family love me, but most of them do. So it's like I say, I consider myself to be very, very lucky, very, very fortunate. Listen, if my brother would have swung a golf club or been a lawyer or a doctor, worked in McDonald's or whatever, we'd have followed him, because it was like the blind leading the blind. And but like I say, boxing was his thing, and he always encouraged me to box. And it still does to this day. He's a big part of my life.
Duke, I wanted to ask you a question about misfits boxing. Do you feel that misfits boxing is disrespecting professional boxing?
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it, with this misfits organisation? On one hand, I don't agree with it, but on the other hand, I do agree with it. I mean, on one hand, yeah, it is. It kind of takes the piss out of boxing to a point, because that's what they are. They're misfits. They're have-a-goes. They're wannabes. All these guys that fight on these YouTube platforms, they would love to be in my position. They would love to be me, I dare say, and have my credentials, but they don't. So this is where they fit. So what they do, that in turn, they bring a whole new audience to the sport of boxing. However, the new audience that's coming into boxing know nothing about the sport. Do you see what I mean? They know nothing about the history of the sport. If you mention fighters like I don't know, Muhammad Ali or Henry Armstrong or Kid Gaviland or Matthew Saad Muhammad, the list is endless. I mean, they know nothing about the sport. Sugar Ray Robinson had an unbeaten record of 129 fights before he lost his first ever fight. Your average everyday YouTube fan doesn't know that. These misfits, they know nothing about the sport of boxing. They know nothing about the history of the boxing. And they should, because they're missing out on so much. And maybe if they knew a lot more about the sport, then they wouldn't really have this sort of flippant attitude and say to themselves, well, I've seen Jake Paul on the TV, if he can do it, I can do it. Do you see what I mean? So it's wrong, but at the same time, everybody's getting paid. And it's all about the pound note. Everybody's chasing money. And if you're a social media star these days, then you can go onto one of these misfit sites and join one of these organizations, call yourself a boxer, and make a bucket load of money. And that's where I guess that's where it fits.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with what you're saying, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted you also to come onto the show, because you're also educating the community on boxing itself. Because, like what my cousin said, you've conquered boxing in all aspects, from British level, European level, world level. So whatever you're saying, and I've seen you say it in interviews as well, I'm only talking based on what I've done in the ring, and it's facts. I agree with you completely.
Listen, I haven't gone to university. I didn't get a degree in boxing in that respect. I haven't been to college and got a certificate saying I am a boxer. Everything I tell you is first hand. My boxing knowledge, I've been boxing. I've been involved in boxing for 50 years. And I just did the math the other day. I started at age 11. I'm 61 now. So I've been involved in this sport for 50 years. It's a long time. I've met so many people through the sport of boxing. And I've been around so many what I consider to be great world champions, like a Marvin Hagler, like a Sugar Ray Leonard, like a Cornelius Boza Edwards, Hector Camacho, Edwin Rosario, Livingstone Bramble, Ray Mancini. The list is endless. I've met Evander Holyfield, Mike McCallum. I could talk about boxing all day long, and the fighters that I've met and the company that I've been in. And when I really look at the nuts and bolts, the real history of this sport, and the great fighters like a Julio Cesar Chavez, who went 89 fights before he suffered his first defeat. These guys are true legends of the sport in every sense of the word. And there's so much you can learn just by looking at these guys and learning about these guys and following their careers and really learning about what boxing is. Because the true sport of boxing, the true art of boxing, obviously is to hit and not get hit. Sugar Ray Robinson is arguably the greatest fighter that's ever lived, right? He went 129 fights before he lost his first fight to Jake LaMotta, which he overturned. I think he had over 200 fights throughout the whole of his career. There are so many great fighters that I consider to be great fighters in the sport of boxing that I've been privileged to grow up either watching or I've actually seen firsthand. And like I said, I've had a privileged life where boxing's concerned.
Absolutely. It's just so powerful, just from everything that you said. And Sugar Ray Robinson, for example, I remember when he did the European tour where he was covering different parts of Europe, Belgium, different parts, and he did that in such a short time frame. And you think about boxing now, it takes you'll be lucky for a top fighter to fight 3 times a year, whereas he was covering these in
my older brother Clinton, as I mentioned earlier on, from 1979 to 1981, the Boxing News publication, Boxing Newspaper, they used to vote for British title fight of the year. 3 years back to back, my older brother Clinton he won the British title fight of the year in 15-round wars. He could be like 8 rounds or 9 rounds down in the fight, come back and knock the guy out in the 14th round or the 15th round. Then the guys that I might mention, you may never have heard of them before. Guys like Des Morrison, Colin Powell, Sylvester Mitty. These guys were the real big players in the sport of boxing. And these were all these guys were fighting one another. Do you see what I mean? And my brother was right in the mix. In actual fact, Clint came out on top, against Morrison, against Mitty, against Colin Powers, and they had 1 or 2 fights apiece. And I think Colin Powers actually knocked my brother out the first time. But then when they had the return, it was a 15-round absolute slugfest. But when I say a slugfest, it wasn't just all blood and guts. Boxing of the highest order, the class and the skill that was involved. I can remember being 14 years of age, being at the York Hall, Bethnal Green, watching my brother do 15 rounds. And I quite literally, me and my brother Dudley, we'd pretty much wet ourselves with excitement. And like I say, I couldn't have had a greater role model. And that was my introduction into the sport of boxing.
Wow. 15 rounds. Wow, that's just crazy. I think even professional boxers now, I don't think they'll be able to survive 15 rounds.
They couldn't do that. Also, Clinton, my older brother, it's another fact I'll give you on my older brother. I'm so proud of him because, he had 7 15-round fights in 17 months. So if you work it out, that's 1 every 9 weeks. 1 every 9 weeks. 4 of those fights were abroad. He went to Lagos, he went to Las Vegas, he went to Copenhagen, and I think he went to Italy. These were all in like European title fights and Commonwealth title fights. But he had 7 15-round fights in 17 months. So it's unheard of. Fights today, Canelo might fight once every 2 years. Do you know what I mean? And I know these are different times and these are, a different period that we're living in now. But I'm just saying the discrepancy from where we were to where we are now, it's quite ridiculous. It really is.
100%, I agree with you. I just want to get a few people involved in the chat. They're obviously getting involved. So big up to Daryl, who's saying good evening, lads. Welcome, Duke, and happy birthday, Trey. Big up to you, Daryl. This is my good friend from back in the days. And Rico, he's saying happy birthday, and big up to you, Duke, as well. Guys, just make sure you get involved in the chat because you're getting absolute wisdom here from someone who's, done it all in the sport, in my opinion. So this is boxing royalty on my birthday. So big up to Duke once again.
Duke, how did you score Usyk and Fury's last fight? For some strange reason, I said it was a draw.
Why? What fight was you watching?
You know what?
First fight?
This is exactly what I was saying, Duke, but go for it, please.
You know what? All right. I compared it to the first fight. I feel that Fury performed better, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
He performed better in the second fight. I feel that he was more aggressive. He wasn't fighting on the back foot as much.
Fury boxed better in the first fight, no doubt. Did he win it? No, he didn't. He lost the first fight a lot more decisively. Usyk is a modern day great, not an all-time great. I like Alexander Usyk. I'm sure you do, and he's like a bit of a maverick in this whole heavyweight shake-up because they can't touch him. And Tyson Fury is delusional in thinking that he won the fight or the fight was even close. Usyk's not got no business fighting Tyson Fury in terms of Tyson Fury outweighed him on the night by 4 stones in weight. If I'm fighting in a world title fight or any kind of a fight, and I've got a 4 stone weight advantage, I'm going to smash the granny out of that person because I know my physical strength is far greater than his. However, if I'm fighting Alexander Usyk, it might be a different story because he can nullify your weight, he can nullify your style, he can nullify your power. He's that good, and he does it with very subtle moves. If you watch him and you study him as I have, this is why I like him. He takes away your best assets. If it's your jab, he can take that away. If it's your right hand, he can take away your right hand. Now, let me explain when I say he takes away your shot, because I don't know if your viewers know exactly what I'm talking about. But when you're trying to take away somebody's shot, it doesn't mean you screw off their arm, or you tie one of their arms behind their back or whatever. You've got to use evasive moves. You've got to make them miss, and then you make them pay. And that's what you work on when you're in training camp. And Alexander Usyk, like I say, he's even talking about moving back down to light heavyweight or even cruiserweight. So when you start saying to yourself, just how good is this guy? This is how good he is potentially. He's a 2-division world champion, and I've got nothing but admiration and respect for him for what he's doing and what he's done as a 2-time champion now, 2-time heavyweight champion. He's pretty special.
I 100% agree with what you're saying, Duke. I'm a massive Usyk fan. I think it must be something about, you obviously mentioned meeting the likes of Muhammad Ali. I was obviously saying in the previous show that they're born on the same day. They're both, fought for something stronger outside of the sport.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they're both people's champions. And from what everything Usyk's done, he's never had the homecoming fight in his homeland because of what's going on. So he's always been the road warrior, and he's gone and done the job wherever he's gone.
Again, doesn't that just show you just how he's not good? He's great. He's a modern day great. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. To take your championship on the road, or to have to fight on the road and get a win, it's almost unheard of. It really is. To do it so regularly, so consistently, and so successful. And like I said, I don't know what fight you were watching, champ, but I made Usyk win the second fight comfortably by about 3 rounds, possibly 4 rounds. If you look at it again, maybe turn the volume down and don't get swayed by the what the commentators are saying, and look at the fight again. He wins that quite comfortably.
Yeah, even Rico's getting involved in the chat as well. And big up to Eric. Eric's got his show launching as well. Rico, just wanted to ask you just very quickly, Duke, what's your opinion on AJ versus Fury? Is that still the biggest fight in British boxing?
It's the biggest fight in world boxing. Everybody loves a heavyweight, right? Nobody's more popular on this planet than Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury. Don't ask me why, because I really couldn't tell you. But their popularity it's huge. It's not just in this country; it's global. That fight will probably end up in Saudi, because that's where all the big fights are going. Or it'd be great if we had it here at Wembley or somewhere like that. It's a good fight. When I say it's a good fight, someone's getting knocked out. That's what I mean. So this only boils down to 2 things for me: who's got what left out of Fury and Joshua? Who's got what left? Because as far as I'm concerned, Joshua's punch resistance is completely shot to pieces, and Fury doesn't have the greatest stamina in the world because he can't fight at pace anymore. When you see Fury fight now, this isn't the same Tyson Fury that went to Germany or wherever it was and beat a 42-year-old Klitschko, but he had to go over and he had to do it. So you got to pat him on the back. That's his career best performance, as far as I'm concerned, beating Klitschko, because Klitschko held the world title for like 9 years. So when you start weighing those 2 up and you start putting that in some kind of perspective, for me, Klitschko's a better champion. He held the world heavyweight championship for 9 years before that championship changed hands to Tyson Fury. Fury won't have that luxury. He won't be. He's not world champion anymore. So that's gone now. Do you see what I mean? So who wins between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury? I think the smart money has to be on Fury, because although they both lost in their fights to Klitschko, AJ's since been knocked out by that beast Daniel Dubois, and it was a bad knockout.
You called it as well. You called it. We have to give you your props because on TalkSport you said that Dubois beats Joshua, and look, you was right. And this is why people need to understand that your knowledge of the sport is just on a different scale. Not just because of, there's many reasons. Of course, you love the sport and you've done great things for the sport, but you really study it to the point where you made good accurate predictions like that one. So yeah, massive.
What I do when a fight's made, you know what I do? The first thing I do, I say to myself, how would I beat that guy? If it was me, how would I beat him? This is what I do, right? So if I see a guy's physically really, really strong, the last thing I want to do is try and fight with him, because that I'm not going to beat him at his game. So you've got to see what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And it's very simplistic. It's a very, very simple equation to make. See what their weaknesses are, see what their strengths are, and then you've got to find a way to counteract that. Do you see what I mean? So for me, Dubois was always going to beat AJ, because I looked at him and I just think, when you look at AJ, synthetically, he's a specimen. He's 6 foot, whatever he is, 6'4", 6'5", whatever he is, 18, 19 stone, ripped to the bone, looks like Charles Atlas. And then you look at Dubois, with equal measure, Dubois is just as big, but Dubois is solid. He's not like one. He doesn't look like he's been pumped up on weights. Dubois to me looks like he's got the stamina, and he's got the strength of like a gorilla. He's so strong. And I just thought to myself, well, he can match power. If he can match AJ for power, he's easily the better boxer. And that's what I based my logic on. And I just made everything simplistic. Now, I quite like Anthony Joshua, but he was never going to beat Daniel Dubois. And like I say, when I looked at it and I weighed it all up, it was a very, very easy decision to make. So right now, with the exception of Alexander Usyk, who's the only person right now who I see beating Dubois, because when you're young and you're hungry and you're starving for, Daniel Dubois comes from money, so he's not fighting for the money; he's fighting purely for the glory. That makes him a hard person to beat. It makes him an extremely hard person to beat, because what Dubois has now, this self-belief and this confidence that he's got, which his new coach has instilled in him. I don't know who beats Daniel Dubois right now. Like I say, with the exception of Alexander Usyk, that fight might get made again, because I don't know where Usyk goes from here. He's cleaned up everything. There's nobody really for him. I don't know how he's going to get motivated for his next fight, Usyk. I don't, unless it's Daniel Dubois.
I mean, Daniel Dubois, his next opponent is Joseph Parker.
Oh, he's going to blow Parker out of the water. He's blowing Parker. You know what? Parker better not show up. Do you know Parker's getting destroyed.
What's your views on Martin Bakole?
Yeah, no, listen, he's a good puncher, Bakole, and they made him the president of the Who Needs Him, Who Wants Him club. Make no mistake about that, because he's a dangerous puncher. But he's very beatable, very beatable. He's too slow, he's too methodical, Bakole. Big guy, don't get me wrong, 6'6", I think, 20 stone, hits hard. If he catches you, he'll knock you out. Again, if they match him with Usyk beats him, because Usyk will just outbox him. Usyk's not going to knock him out. Well, if he does, I mean, that would be sensational for Usyk. Yeah. But Usyk beats him. Usyk's like he's like your mastermind professional. He finds a way. It doesn't matter who's in front of him. He finds a way to win. And I'm sure you'll agree with me in saying that you can't think of anybody right now who beats Usyk.
Mm.
Yeah, no.
Bakole's not going to beat him.
I mean, they've been talking about who's that cruiserweight champion? Is it Jai Apataya? They're saying that. Yeah. Jai
Apataya doesn't beat Alexander Usyk. None. I don't know who beats Alexander Usyk. The only thing that beats Alexander Usyk is himself.
Yeah.
But he's probably one of these really intelligent fighters, in as much as I think after his next fight, he'll say, you know what, that's another 100 million. Thank you very much. I'm unbeaten. I'm a 2-division world champion. I'm a future Hall of Famer. That's me. I'm done.
This is exactly what I want for him as well, because I think there is nothing else for him to do in the sport. So I just think maybe, but I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to ask you, Duke, because you did mention him, and my cousin, in fact, said that this person he predicts is gonna be the next world champion after, you know, the U6, the Furies, the AJ leaves. You did mention him, Fabio Wardley. Why is no one calling him out? Because is he not the is he not ranked in the #1 in the WBA?
Yeah, they put him in. They put him in at, I think, #1, which means he's going to get a title shot pretty soon. Fabian Wardley is so dangerous right now, and like I say, all heavyweights hit hard. All of them do. But if you look at the damage that he did to Fraser Clark, Fraser Clark will never be the same. You know, if you see, when you lose in a world title fight, the best thing that happened to Fraser Clark was that he got knocked out early. That was his one saving grace. Because if he had gone 10, 12 rounds and got knocked out at the end, that would have been a far more severe, far more worse, far more devastating KO. However, I think his jaw got broken. I think his nose was broken, which will tell you the power that Wardley's got. Wardley's very athletic. He's got a very athletic build. So, you know, I don't know who his coach is, and but if I was his coach, I'd make sure this boy could box. He can already fight, but I'd make sure he can box, because you need more than just a punch just to become champion. Do you see what I mean? But nobody's calling him out because he's a devastating puncher. There's far few miles on his clock, so he's nice and fresh. It doesn't matter who he fights. You know, you better be ready to fight, and he's coming to fight. So, you know, again, I think the reason I say he gives everybody a fight, and that includes Usyk, because he's young, he's hungry, and he can fight. And he doesn't know how to lose. You see what I mean? He doesn't. Fabio Wardley doesn't want to take a step back. Fabio Wardley's just going to be in your face all night long. And if he's got quite a good ring IQ for his limited experience that he has in the sport of boxing. In another 4 or 5 fights from now, he's going to take some holding.
Do you think we will ever get Wilder and AJ?
Wilder AJ? Is there a oh God, are we going to get a, oh God, why?
Well, what I'm hearing, that Wilder wants to come back. He's got a fight. I believe. Yeah, he's got a fight, I think, next month. I'm not too sure. But then I'm thinking, because AJ's saying that what AJ wants, he wants to fight Fury, and then he wants to fight Daniel Dubois, and hopefully we can get the Wilder fight.
It's pointless. Wilder's punch resistance is just as bad as AJ's. So that'll be like gunfight at the OK Corral. We'll just be the first one to land. I don't know where they sell that fight. I don't know where they hang their hat. I don't know who make. I know they're going to make money because the Sheikh guy's involved, and he's paying for everything now, right? And paying for the biggest fights. And if nothing else, there's still 2 big names. I don't even. Do you want to watch that fight? Would you watch that fight?
I mean, for me, if I'm honest with you, I've said this. Look, Dylan White's been inactive for a while. He's back. I think Dylan White should fight Wilder. I think the winner of that, possibly they can get AJ. I think it's fair.
Well, does Dylan White warrant that? Does he warrant a fight against AJ? He's beaten no one. He's not. I don't even know what we're talking about. To be honest with you, I don't. Is he in the equation? Is he still in the equation? You know, Dylan White's had his chance, and I think he ship sailed. Dylan White. Can't see Dylan White becoming a world champion or winning any major fight of any substance. Would you put Moses Atumo? Would you put Dylan White anywhere near Moses Atumo right now?
No.
Nah. Fabio Wardley right now. No. Come on, mate. Listen, I like Dylan White. He's quite a nice guy. I've met him once or twice, but I think he gets seriously hurt. He's not. This isn't the Dylan White of old that would just fight anybody. Dylan White, his punch resistance has to be questioned as well now. His desire has to be questioned. Anybody can talk a good fight. Yeah, I want to fight this guy. I want to fight that guy. But really, they're just talking about getting paid. And, you know, some boxers need protecting from themselves. And maybe Dylan White's one of those guys. He's a lovely man, I'm sure, but lovely guys don't win fights. I'd like to see Dylan White retire now, to be honest with you.
Okay. That is a fair assessment, to be honest with you. And he's kind of fallen in the bracket of these heavyweights that's on the way out, you know, the Chisoras, and because it's just at that time, unfortunately. But maybe would you be interested to see them do like a last dance, Dylan White, Chisora? Is that something that you would? No one doesn't want to see that, but they want to. It's funny, I know, but it's money, I guess.
Listen, so long as they're dangling that golden carrot in front of them, these guys aren't proud, and they'll go, you know what, pay me and I'll fight anyone.
Yeah.
The problem is you can have a stash load of cash, but that's never going to buy your health. And what you have to say to yourself is, these hard fights that they're having, they may not affect them now, but when they get to my age, when they start in 60s and 70 years of age, that's when all these hard fights come back to get you, and they nip you in the bud. And let's just hope the damage hasn't already been done, because, you know, these guys you've just mentioned, Dylan White and Chisora, they've been involved in some absolutely crazy hard fights over the years. You know, Derek Chisora, when he knocked out Joe Joyce, he was on the verge of being stopped. I don't know if you saw the fight.
Yeah.
But that's one of the biggest sort of turnarounds I've seen in my career. He was tottering back to the ropes. The referee took a look at him, because I was working ringside that night for TalkSport. He was tottering. He was ready to go. The referee was nearly just about one more good shot, and the referee was going to stop the fight. Then he threw that almighty right hand and absolutely destroyed Joe Joyce. And Joe Joyce is another one now, really. I don't know where he's going. There's a long queue in front of him now that are all juggling for position. There's a lot of young fighters coming through, good young heavyweights coming through. You know, we mentioned one or two of them earlier. Moses Atumo, Fabio Wardley. These guys, they're serious and they're young. They can fight. And these are the sort of names they'll be looking at. You know, guys that are still not a threat, but still a big name. And, you know, Derek Chisora is so popular. You know, I can't remember being at a fight where when he boxed when he boxed Joe Joyce, I can't remember being at a fight where so many people were like, please God, I want this guy to win. You know, I just really want, you know, like I said, I've never experienced nothing like it in my life. Everybody thought he was going to get annihilated, myself included. Yeah. But he didn't, and he turned it around in magnificent style. And I take my hat off to him, but I wish he would retire, because I want him to retire with a lot of money, and so he rise off into the sunset and never has to look back. And we don't hear from him in 10 years from now. I'm coming out of retirement.
No, 100%. I just echo everything you're saying, because fighters, I guess the money is so good, especially with the introduction to Riyadh season, of course. So that carrot is always going to be dangling, I guess. So yeah, let's see what happens. But I agree with you. I don't want to see any more wars. I want to see opportunities for the younger fighters to, you know, have their chance to become champion, because I truly do believe what my cousin was saying about Wardley years ago and what you've echoed as well. I think these are potential world champions of the sport after, you know, the likes of Usyk, Fury, AJ, Wilder, White. These people move on, and, you know, there's time for the new crop to come through.
Yeah, well, like I say, nobody's calling that Fabio Wardley. He's just, sorry, that's my boy. Come here, mate.
Bless him. Let's see. What's his name?
His name's Trevor.
Nice one, Trevor. Say hi to us.
Come here. Get up.
Go on, Trevor.
I don't know if he wants to. No, he's not having it. Sorry.
Because he knows you're live on camera. He said nope.
He gets separation anxieties when I don't give him a stroke and I can't talk to him, and he gets a little bit touchy. So and he starts barking for no reason.
No,
but he's my right hand.
Who would you class as the face of boxing?
World boxing or British boxing?
World boxing and British boxing.
the face of world boxing has to be, for me personally, Terence Crawford. I don't think pound for pound, I don't think there's a better fighter on the planet than Terence Crawford. I think Gervonta Davis is a close second, but I don't think Terence Crawford. I mean, you know what? I don't think he's going to beat Canelo somehow, only because of the size discrepancy. Stop it! I'm talking. Come here. Yeah, the size discrepancy. So it might be. Come here, puppy. It might be a little bit too much for him, but Terence Crawford can do just about everything. You know, switch hitter, boxes lovely, doesn't go down, knows how to win a fight. You very rarely see him behind in fights. He's been that dominant over the weights that he's boxed in. But I just feel, puppy, stop it. Come here. I just feel that he's probably bitten off more than he can chew. But he's probably looking at himself saying, you know what, I'm 37 now. I'm 37, and it's going to be a huge payday. And if I lose, I'm going to get well paid.
Yeah.
I agree with you, and you know better than most because you've obviously gone up the division, so you know where your body kind of reaches that point where your punches are not gonna, have that effect on a potential Canelo, and I think that could happen. We kind of saw it against Madrimov, where didn't have it all his way, but he did find a way to win. Yeah.
But you see, when we're talking about levels in the sport of boxing, Canelo's another level up from that. So if he has the same, if he did have problems with that Madrimov, and if he has the same problems with Canelo, who's arguably leagues above Madrimov, then you would expect Canelo to win. Poppy, stop it.
No, definitely. Even Daryl's agreeing with what you're saying. He's saying Terence Crawford has everything and has an amazing IQ, adapts to every fight. Daryl, 100% we agree with you. I think Crawford is a modern day great, I would say, in terms of comparing him with some of the greats of the past. Comes into a different conversation because you look at, dominant fighters of the past. You're looking at the Mayweathers and the other people of the sport. It's hard to quite kind of compare, man.
Again, Terence Crawford, like you say, to me, falls into a modern day great, not an all-time great. Come here. He's not an all-time great. Wilfredo Benitez was world champion at 17 years of age. In an era when the welterweight division, you could have picked anybody from the top 20, probably 30 even, that could have been world champion or went on to become world champion. Sorry about this, guys. Trevor's getting the hump.
No, don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Bless him.
Yeah. So, like I say, Wilfredo Benitez was world champion at 17 years of age. 17 in an era that will arguably never be repeated. I mean, could you imagine if Sugar Ray Leonard was boxing today, or Wilfredo Benitez, or Roberto Duran?
Yeah.
Come here, quickly, come here. What's this? What's that? Yeah, or Roberto Duran, they'd still be world champion today. Do you see what I mean? So, like I say, Crawford for me, I would love to see him pull it off. I don't think he will. I think he's that bridge too far.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah, no, that's... I agree with you completely. I think there were talks of... Errol, so, what is your thoughts about Errol Spence then? Because, there are sort of lingers of potentially retirement. Is he going to do more of the promotional stuff that he's been doing in the sport already? There's potential talks of him fighting a Fedora maybe. What is your thoughts, especially after everything that's happened to him in the past with the car crashes? That fight with Crawford was, I think that took a lot out of him in terms of like what he has left. So it'd be good to just get your thoughts on Errol.
Yeah, I don't think Errol Spence will retire. I think all the time they're dangling that golden carrot in front of him, potentially fighting for another world championship at a different weight. Then I think he takes it. Come in. Yeah, I think he takes it. He's not. I can't see him walking away from it, to be honest with you. Stop it. Come here, Trevor. Come here. Come here.
Trevor just wants to get involved in the pod right now.
Yeah, sorry, champ. He's like I say, it's either that or he can see something out in the garden and he wants to go and chase it like a fox or something. He gets a little bit. He's a beagle, so he's on a bit of a mission.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. Cuz sorry, I know you had a few
Trevor, stop
questions to ask. Sorry, man.
Sorry, champ.
Do you know what? I think Crawford, I personally think he's got a good chance of beating Canelo. Obviously on points, not a knockout, because I think Canelo.
I'm not saying he's not without a chance. Oh, he's with an almighty chance. I just don't think Canelo's ready to go yet. You know, he lost to Bivol, but Bivol's a big man and could manhandle him. Do you see what I mean? Where Crawford's a smaller guy and won't be able to manhandle Canelo. And Canelo's got a good ring IQ, as I'm sure you're well aware. And Canelo doesn't get cut, he doesn't get knocked down.
Yeah.
You've got to look for chinks in the armour. There aren't any noticeable chinks in his armour. Like I say, losing to Bivol was no disgrace because Bivol was just too big, too strong. I think that's what Crawford's going to find out when he fights Canelo. He's going to be a bit too big and a bit too strong.
We kind of saw it when Canelo fought Charlo. When Charlo moved up in weight, even though there wasn't much of a difference, but we kind of saw that there are weight divisions for a reason, and I think Canelo sensed that as well when going into that fight.
Yeah, sorry guys, he's just playing up a little bit.
No, don't worry. We're going to not keep you any longer because he's probably just saying, "Look, stop taking him away from us. I need to be fed. I need my time."
Just last question.
Go on.
Face of British boxing.
The face of British boxing, Daniel Dubois.
Really?
Yeah.
Big Daniel.
Right now, Daniel Dubois is world heavyweight champion, right? And there isn't a British fighter that's going to beat Daniel Dubois. And when you look at even on the world scene, with the exception of Usyk, who's going to beat Daniel Dubois right now? For me, there's no one. For me, there's no one. If you know what, if Jesus said to me tomorrow, "Dude, you're going to heaven, and when you get to heaven, pick one fighter that you want to be right now when you get to heaven, because if you're going to be the best in heaven, you've got to be big, bad, and strong." I'm not going to pick Anthony Joshua. I'm not going to pick Tyson Fury. I'll pick Daniel Dubois, hands down.
He's the man. Daniel Dubois is just a man, and I just loved. Obviously, I know you don't have that much time, but I just loved the whole entrance because you're a fighter. You know, you kind of look at ring walks, and you could just see from the fighters' expressions and how their demeanor is. I just always kind of sensed that Daniel Dubois sensed that was his moment, and he produced on the night.
Well, as soon as that fight was made, he fancied it. He did, and like I say, Daniel Dubois is a much better boxer. We haven't seen the best of his boxing skills as yet, but Daniel Dubois is a very good boxer, and he's got the power to go with it. So, like I say, I like Daniel Dubois as a boxer. I don't know Daniel Dubois. I've never met Daniel Dubois, but like I say, I think right now he's going to take some holding. Wow,
man, you're getting it right here from Duke McKenzie MBE. People, thank you. This is a birthday special. I just wanted to say thank you, Duke, for just taking up your time and doing this show. It was a pleasure to have you. It's boxing royalty, man, because you're an MBE and you also your Jukebox Gym. So guys, make sure you go into the description, follow Duke McKenzie on his IG, and you'll be able to follow the journey. He's at the gym pretty much 6 days a week, so it's near Crystal Palace, I believe. So people, make sure you go. Yeah,
I'm a Croydon boy.
That's my cousin. Grew up in East Croydon. So
okay, yeah. I'm South Croydon.
Wow.
Yeah, the Jukebox Gym in South Croydon. So yeah, check it out.
Okay.
No, big up to you. And once again, we actually didn't say anything about our sponsors as well. So guys, here's a quick word from our sponsors, D-Rock as well. So yes, people, D-Rock in association with iBoxingHub. So make sure you head over to the description, take advantage of the discount code, which is iBoxingHub24, and you get 40% off everything. And also, once again, I just want to remind people, because the votes are closing. We've obviously been, announced as a finalist for the best combat sports podcast for 2025. So people, head over to the description and just vote for us as well. But cuz we've had a tremendous guest in Duke McKenzie MBE, former world champion. Cuz that is a true special, especially that's my birthday as well, man. So cuz, big up to you for, coming up with the idea. I really do appreciate it. And we're gonna just continue to bring more content to the people. Thank you so much for everyone that got involved. Daryl, Rico obviously done the watch along today for Jaya Pattaya. We saw him do the knockout, and we've seen interviews with the like Bill Haney and also Todd Grisham by Abbas. So people, make sure you just head over to our channel after this show and just stroll through the playlist and just have some fun. There's so much content for you guys to just go and enjoy. So guys, just take advantage. But cuz, I'm obviously going to hand it over to yourself. Big up to you once again, and big up to the people. Daryl's saying big up to Biyenge, big up to you, and stay weighed in. Birthday blessings to Trey. Yes, this was my birthday today, man. We got this treat, man. So big up to Duke McKenzie MBE for just joining us on the show.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, happy New Year, all. Trey, happy birthday again. I'm not gonna be at the age 34.
You already did.
Remember to keep supporting, keep liking, keep sharing. We're here again on Sunday. Just have a lovely, productive week.
Oh yeah, cuz just a quick one as well. Just before you say it, your IG link is on the description as well. So people, make sure you follow my cousin in what he's doing. He does some tremendous reels with Tilly, his wife, and his kids as well. So people, just head over. This is why I call him Mr. Sports Entertainment, because he entertains the community with what he does, man. So people, just make sure you follow my cuz and follow also Duke McKenzie, man. So the link will be in the description. And yeah, cuz, man. Let's go.
Man. Appreciate it, man. Happy birthday again. Peace and love, man. Peace and love.
Yes. Big up to you, and big up to the whole of the community, man. Big up.
It's another bang. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. Light up my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a back by the